Hey Kyle, so I told you I'd make a little video for you here to a little tutorial on tuning a goose call. So yeah, this is kind of just things that I've picked up from talking to different people, watching different videos, and biggest thing is just experimenting on your own too. So this is a GK call that I've got here, and basically you've got your barrel and your insert, and then your guts that are on the inside there. So some of the biggest things that we'll go over is, when you do start to take it apart. One of the mistakes that I made early on was grabbing the guts and twisting them out, and it's especially important with these wooden calls when they have the metal or plastic gut certs. You can actually rip those out or de-thread them. So the biggest thing that I would say is actually take and get a solid hold on this and push them through. And then, I gotta grab a pen or, just something, you've got that going down, just push it all the way through. That way you're not ripping anything out, you're not damaging the threading or anything else. So I'm sure you've seen here already, you've got your reed, you've got your wedge, and you've got your tone channel. One of the things you want to look at when you're putting these back together is this reed, this mylar reed, has a natural flex to it, and if you take it between your thumb and forefinger and you push it together, you see how it has the natural tendency to curve that way. If I flip it around, it's going to curve up and go back, and you're going to go down. So you always want the side that curves in to go in to your tone channel there. And basically the process that I do is you want that reed to just fall inside that tone channel. You don't want it to hit at all. And like on here, I've got markings, to know where I want that sucker to sit when I put it back in. And one of the other things to keep in mind, when your wedge has a natural thickness to it too. There's a thinner part on this end and a thicker part on that high end. The high end is going to face up and out. And what you want to keep in mind, the more of that reed that you're showing, the lower pitch it's going to be, and the harder it is, say, more air it's going to take. So, the further up you bring that reed, the further up you bring that wedge, the less reed that's showing, the higher pitch tone it's going to be, and the easier to blow it's going to be. A lot of your guts will have markings on them. This is just an old set here that I've got on. One of the things, like for example, on this set here, I have a piece of electrical tape. It just adds a little more thickness to get that inside of that insert. You can also put some tape on your wedge. When you're experimenting, as much as I do, you need to try different things to get that to work. So I'm just going to start here, and I'm just going to try to fit that reed right on the inside of that tone channel. I'm going to grab my wedge, thick fat part, pointing up and out. I'm going to get it to have an idea of where I want it. And grab that in your hand right there. And then what I do is I slide it in to the insert to a point where it's not moving, but it's not stuck, it's not tight. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to push that reed, make sure that it's falling inside that tone channel. It's not scratching. That's where you get all your buzz and your squeaking. It's falling right inside. And then I'm going to hold that. I'm actually going to kind of push with that insert, push it into the guts. and you can see I've got a little bit of a gap, so I'm just going to take and I take my barrel and lightly pound that in till it gets flush. So how well you can see, but that's just fallen inside. The larger the gap that you have between your reed and that opening in the tone channel, that's where it takes all that air and you just can't get it right. So I think I've got it to a point that I like it. Make sure all your guts are in tight. Throw your barrel on and give it a test. So there you go. If you can make, small little changes, like I said, tapping that tone channel in, decreasing that gap. You can move it around a little bit. Like I said, when you first put it in, make some small changes until you stick it in tight. So I hope this helps, and I hope you can make some sense of it. And like I said, man, the biggest thing is just do some experimenting on your own. It never hurts to just go at it. I like to tune my calls very easy to blow. Some guys like them. You have to run a lot of air through them. It comes to personal preference, and the nice thing about learning how to tune your own calls is if you get them either from the call maker, you can tune them to your own liking, or the biggest thing is if you get a call in on trade and you say, man, I can't blow this thing, it's not sounding right, instead of just trading it off right away, you can try to tune it. You can try to tune it up. So again, buddy, hope this helps, and I'll be talking to you and seeing if you have any more questions.